I'm going to finish up this week's lecture with a discussion about the periodic system. I include it because it gets tested on. There are companies that use it. It is not the favored method, and you'll probably see why before we're done talking about this. So some of this stuff is repetition from what we talked about in relationship to the perpetual method, so I'm not going to go back over those. However, we're going to use the same example of these items. So we had a total of 55 units that were available for sale. We sold 43. We had 12 left in ending inventory. But here's how we are going to account for those. And so under the specific identification method, nothing changes. We're still going to physically follow those goods, and they're going to be exactly how they were before. The FIFO method, well, so the big difference here is that we don't track our inventory in real time when it comes to the periodic system. We basically sell, wait until the end of the month, figure out, or the end of the year, or whatever we choose, figure out what we have left in the warehouse. And we figure that we know what we started with, we know what we bought, we know what we have left. The difference is what we must have sold. And then we do an adjustment and update our inventory and cost of goods sold at that point. So under the periodic method, we don't really know in real time what we have. We just sell, and there I think you'll figure out the downside of this method. It is simpler because we're not worried about tracking every cost as we make a sale. We just worry about it at the end of the month, and we make one big adjustment to account for all of it, as opposed to having to account for it by every sale. So under the FIFO method, and we're basically going to figure out, we get to the end of the month, we sold 43 items, same 43 items. We're going to go back to what was in our beginning inventory and just start chipping through. We're not going to worry about interim sales and purchases. We're just going to go right back through the top, from the beginning to the end and calculate that. LIFO, we're going to go the other way. So we had all of these goods that we purchased, and we're just going to go right back upwards. And how this is really different is under the perpetual method, when we sell something in the middle of the month, if we're on the LIFO method, for example, we're going to go right back to the one we just bought, just right before we made that sale. Whereas under this periodic method, when we don't worry about it till the end of the month, then we assume that all of our sales came first from the stuff we bought, in this example, on August 28th, and then we work back through. So we don't worry about interim acquisitions and sales. We're just going to wait till the end and then work our way back through our inventory. Then our weighted average method, at the end, we're going to figure out everything, the number of items that we sold, and we're going to assign an average inventory cost based on all the items that we purchased. So the items we purchased came up with an average of $108.91 a unit. We know we sold 43 of them, so we don't bother to re-average our inventory after we buy new stuff every time. So it's just once and in the end. So again, it's simpler, but by the same token, if a customer calls up and wants to know in the middle of the month, hey, how many of these widgets do you have on hand? You don't really know. You might have an idea, but you don't really know. So I'm actually going to stop here. I'm not going to go into Appendix 6B as a way of estimating inventory. I think you guys have had enough fun for 1 week.